We need to keep Alex Neil at all costs. Middlesbrough snipping round him. We don't want our season to start crumbling away with any nonsense like that. Welcome back to Where Lions Walk. It's 15 minutes of Millwall chat. How are you all doing? We're fresh back from that Preston game. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and does Negley need dropping? That's the view from some Millwall fans. We're going to get Mike's opinion on all of that. Coming up then this week, what did we learn from the Preston game? The manager merry-go-round. Can we keep Alex Neil out of the clutches of Middlesbrough? We're looking at the Fair Play League. Where do Millwall rank in terms of dirtiness in this particular season? And we're on to letter E in our A to Z of Millwall FC. Have a think of a player beginning with E that should definitely get into that one. How are you doing, Mike? Funny old week for Millwall. Birmingham and then Preston. What have we learned from them two games?
Oh, God. I think it shows you how reliant we are on Femi Aziz for the most part. To be fair, up until it was about 35 minutes in when he went off injured against Oxford, obviously, the week before. And since he went off, Birmingham was a rough ride. We just didn't turn up for that. And I don't think we ever really turned up there. We didn't seem awake. We didn't seem like we wanted to be there, and we just got bulldozed. And I think 4-0 flattered them, to be honest. I think it could have been worse on another day. And then Preston, much of the same. We was a lot better against Preston. I think we edged it really over 90 minutes. But like when you've got someone of Aziz's capability to, just magic something is what you miss in those sort of key moments.
Yeah. Also Howler from their goalkeeper as well to get you back in it. But yeah, good to have the big sub off the mark. We're carrying on. Negley though, can we have a chat about him? Gary says, when is Alex Neil going to get his head out of his backside and stop playing Negley? Few similar tweets to this. Do they have a point, Neil, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. I think Negley has. You can tell there's a lot of talent there. He's extremely good on the ball, but I think I would. This is my personal thought. He's a bit of a luxury player. He's very slow. It's methodical. It's that he's very technically good. But sometimes in the Championship, you need battlers, a bit of bruising, a bit of, tracking back, work rate, and a bit of pace. And I just don't think he quite has that ability. He was actually I thought he was having a good game, to be honest, against Preston. But then he gave the ball away for Preston's goal when he was trying to pass it back to the keeper and left it short. And then I think at that moment, his head was gone. He was trying to make up for his bad back pass, and then it kind of went a bit wrong from then. But I think from Millwall's perspective, he's our record signing. I think it's around about 4.5 million, and I think it's one of those where we can't really. It wouldn't look good on the board if he's just sat on the bench week in, week out. And to be honest, I think he would be on the bench if it wasn't for Aziz being out, Doughty being out as well.
Yeah, these injuries are hitting Millwall. Samuel says, time to drop Negley for RBW until Smallbone is back. Best game from the Serb this season in the second half. Needs to bulk up. But he is young. Kramer is unreal. We're going to struggle to keep him next summer. A good point of a playoff rival. Do you think on the Kramer point there that game by game, scouts are going to be... Is he? Could he play in the Premier League?
I think so. I think so, to be honest. I think his composure, like he had, to be fair, if anyone watched him against, there was a game a few weeks back, was it Coventry? I think he gave the ball away and he had a sort of really bad 10 minutes. But he's so composed on the ball, and defensively, he's just solid. We played him at right back on Saturday and he didn't look out of place. Obviously, I want him to stay for as long as possible. There is absolutely no intention to sell him, but I think there will be Premier League clubs. Team like maybe not exactly in the top 6 teams or anything like that, but I could easily see, I don't know, like a Palace or I hate to say it, like West Ham or some of those mid to lower league teams. He would definitely improve and could start, I think, already.
Yeah. It was a good point, wasn't it? Given obviously Preston's league position and was it 10 first team? 10 first teamers out. Not just too disappointed with the point.
No. I think it's one of those where we got 9 points the week before. It's always hard to then settle for 2 points the following week. We was on a high. We was in second for a lot of the week before. I would have took a point against. To be honest, I didn't expect anything from Birmingham anyway. I think the sucker punch was conceding that 96th minute equaliser with our 97th minute, and it was only 5 minutes added on, and we had another injury which added on the extra time for them. And I think that sucker punched us for them Birmingham, and then to be honest, I don't think anyone really knew what to expect from Saturday. Obviously, it was our Remembrance Day with the troops there and the poppies. So there was a lot of Mill fans up for it, but I think there was a lot of nervousness around what teams would be selected. I think there's anxiety about that, and I think it could have been anything. I know when I was watching it before the match, I was kind of thinking we could win 2-0, we could lose 2-0, we could, to be honest, I had a 2-2 draw in my mind before the game, so not a million miles away. I thought it'd be a score draw.
Okay. The other news coming around Millwall then following that game is around Alex Neil himself. We've had Norwich sack their manager, obviously Southampton got rid of theirs, and now Middlesbrough looking for one as well. Jamie says Alex just needs to tell Borough, to do one. Cheers. Where do you think he's at, before we get into Borough, where do you think he's at with his happiness of Millwall? Let's not forget, here's a man who, when he first signed, he had Millwall fans saying, well, he's not very Millwall, is he? Do you think fans' views have changed on that particular point?
Yeah. I think the general consensus is he's probably one of the favourite managers in terms of tactical astuteness we've probably had in quite a while. When you've had the Gary Rowett ball, which is, defensive, you've got Neil Harris, which is largely the same, and being told you're, just staying in the league is a success and never to really expect too much more. And there's only so many times you can sign, a 7-foot immobile striker and hit along to him and hopefully get the lucky bounce. At least we can kind of see the transition. Obviously, Joe Edwards, when he came in, was a bit too much tiki-taka. That was never going to work. I think he would have done all right eventually, but he was never going to live to see the day there. I think Mill fans, the general consensus, I think everyone loves him. I think there's definitely moments though where, like for example, Birmingham, where there's a few decisions recently where it's questionable. Like for example, the persistence with playing Negley on the wing when I don't think he's had a good game at right wing. It's only ever been in the 10. We conceded a sloppy goal to go 2-0 down, but then we didn't make any subs until the 75th minute. But we was played off the park. I think the first sub was actually at 3-0 down, and then the other subs were at 4-0 down, and it was like the game completely got away. There's a lot of moments like that where I think there's certainly eyebrows raised, but I think the club this year are a lot more quieter in their dealings. We don't really know about injuries until... I know we hear rumours before, but you don't actually know until after a match week. So unless there's a lot more secretive why certain players aren't playing and things like that, then I think everyone's no one wants to see Alex go, put it that way.
Okay. Well, he's not going to go to Norwich because obviously he's been there and done that. But Middlesbrough have expressed, we believe, an interest. Steve Gibson, the chairman there, doesn't tend to go in for managers who've already got jobs, so that's what we do know about him. Do you see, let's say if there was an approach, would you see Alex Neil being interested, or do you think he's quite settled?
I don't think so. So in terms of statistics-wise, I think, I might be getting this wrong, but I think Alex Neil is currently second for points picked up in the Championship, going back to when he started in January the 2nd, I think it was, when he come in. We've picked up the second most points in the Championship out of anyone else. That's including the likes of Leeds and Burnley and things like that. So it's a little bit skewed in that sort of sense. But I don't see it as a possibility purely for the fact of, I think he done that, didn't he, at Southampton onto Stoke, where the grass was paying a little bit better on that side, and it didn't work out for him at all. I think he understands the projects we've got here, and I think that we have probably, I would argue, we have the best owners in the league. From their own support, they're not doing anything crazy to get us in. It's always about sustainability, and I think he understands that if we can sort of consistently, battle into that top six, the fans will love him as well as he's got a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 year career. People don't typically like to chop and change managers, whereas I'm not saying Borough necessarily do, but I don't know. Middlesbrough are a strange team at the moment. I feel like they're playing a bit above their usual level. I don't think they're going to be top 2 come next May.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting 2 weeks, isn't it? It's as manager can merry-go-round. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we are a podcast that will read all comments and will reply to all comments, of course, as well. So let's get your thoughts on. Let's see your thoughts on Alex Neil. We're also talking about Fair Play League at the moment. Of course, Millier's reputation precedes them when we come to looking at this. Where do you think, Mike, we are based on what you've seen so far? Do you think Millwall are near the top of this again?
I think I've actually seen the spreadsheet you're going to pull up. Oh, not spreadsheet, but for the document. But it doesn't look great on reading for fouls. Is it the fouls one? The fouls committee?
It's yellow. No, it's just yellow cards and red cards.
Oh,
Ignore fouls.
I don't think we're too bad, to be honest. I wouldn't class us as a dirty team. I think we're very good at making good cynical fouls where needed to break up gameplay. We're not one that goes in for like necessarily a rough challenge anymore. It's just because of the high press. There are moments you're going to get caught out, and it's usually that sort of second phase where they're countering. You're making a cheap flick of the ankle to bring them down, or a little pull of the shirt. So I don't think we'll be. I think we'll be up that top half of the table, but not. I wouldn't assume we're at the top for bookings.
Let's have a look then, shall we? Yes, can you see that?
Loading in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it's 7th.
Yeah, 7th. Yeah. So you are the 7th nicest team.
Okay.
Which means Gary Rowett's at the top, for goodness sake. Oxford, which you wouldn't believe as well. But no red cards, and 27 yellows, which is even closest to the highest of someone with 39. Yeah. So this is a nicer Millwall than we're used to.
Do you know what you say that? So here's the counter fact to this, which is why I think there's a lot of bias, and I think a lot of fans are getting aggravated with refereeing decisions. So we are 20. I think it's about 20 to 25 fouls committed higher than the team in second place. We're topped by 25 fouls this year so far, and we're not winning anything. At Birmingham on the Tuesday, we didn't get our first free kick until it was either the 43rd or 63rd minute of the game. Apparently, we didn't get a single foul. There was obviously people going down, and I'm not saying in dangerous areas, but we seem to be getting penalised very quickly for those sort of things. It surprises me where we're so high up on the financial fair play. But as I said, it kind of alludes to the point I mentioned earlier on with we're not really one for brash challenges. It's more so when we're getting caught out of possession, and on that sort of transition on the counter, we're making those sort of the cheap yellow cards. But you're not too disappointed.
Yeah. Well, every week, Mike, the conspiracy theory of PGML don't want Millwall in the Premier League continues to grow. I see people keeping an evidence log on it now. We will see. If you've just come across the channel, brilliant, great to see you. If you can drop us a quick sub before you go, that would be absolutely amazing. We've been doing the A to Z of Millwall over the last couple of weeks. One player or one event for each letter. We're up to the letter E this week, so a player or a club or something that's happened in Millwall's history, which we can stick into this virtual book. Anything, Mike?
There's one thing, but I don't know if I should mention it to the likes of yourself. There was a good result in a cup game a couple of years ago. Yeah, Jay Cooper with a last-minute header, 1-0 against. Was it 1-0 against Everton? Was it 1-0?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. That was a fun night. I like that. In terms of players, there's a couple. I would probably say the biggest one's probably Romain Esse, which was our record sale last January to Crystal Palace. I know he's not got on well at all there, and I assume he won't stay there too much longer without going back on loan somewhere. But he's been a big part of it. We've heard through sort of like in the know channels of like people that he's had a lot to do with getting some players into us, like saying how good of a club we are. So his impact wasn't just on the pitch for once Ian Fleming went that he sort of stood up. We managed to get, I think it's the best part of 12, 14 million for him. And then he's also had an impact once he's left. There's been a few players that he's actually put in a good word for and let players join us, basically.
Yeah, okay. Have we missed any? Let us know, of course, in the comments. We'll read some of these out next week. But yeah, Esse is a good shout, I think, over Everton. We'll definitely put Esse in there.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Everton, but yeah.
Well, I was at that game, and my longer-lasting memory of it is that the tube station after the game, there's a group of Millwall fans that were going down the line, just asking someone for the time. I think it was the time or something. And I remember the Scouse lads were going, look, whatever you do, if you've got a Scouse accent, don't speak. And I was all right because I don't have a Scouse accent. I'm from the Midlands, but yeah, I remember these Scouse lads trying to nod, trying to talk in any other accent than that. Yeah, happy days for Millwall, that one. But we had Tim Cahill from you, so we made it even, didn't we, in the end?
Yeah, exactly. You've done all right.
Yeah, right, brilliant. Thank you very much for watching this week. Then we'll be back, of course, in 2 weeks' time after this annoying international break, where we'll look back at the next set of games and also start thinking about the January transfer window. Who do we need? More on that as we get to it. Thanks, Mike, for your efforts this week. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time.